Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 5 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Indiana Pacers and Detroit Pistons. Alright, we've got the Pacers rolling into Detroit for what should be an intense battle, and I can't wait to see how this one plays out. Both teams are trending in different ways, but the key factor here might be the uncertainty surrounding Tyrese Haliburton. The Pacers engine, their floor general, is listed as questionable with a groin issue. If he's not out there, Indiana's chances take a serious hit. Without him, they're just not the same squad, and that was obvious in their last game against Cleveland. Indiana had been cooking before that loss, riding a 7-game win streak and looking like one of the hottest teams in the league. Their defense, which has been a major Achilles heel in the past, was tightening up, holding opponents under 100 points consistently. But when Haliburton sat, the offense lost its spark, and Cleveland took advantage, handing the Pacers a 127-117 loss. Don't get me wrong, this team still has weapons. Pascal Siakam has been a monster since joining the squad, leading them in scoring and bringing versatility on both ends. Pair him with Miles Turner in the paint, and you've got a duo that can cause problems for anyone. Benedict Mathurin's growth has been fun to watch too. This kid has the tools to be a star in the near future. The problem for Indiana is that Detroit isn't the same old Pistons. This team is scrappy, motivated, and riding high after taking down the Knicks at MSG. Cade Cunningham is playing like he's got something to prove. His 36-point outing against New York was pure dominance, and he's making a strong case for an all-star nod. The guy is a leader, plain and simple, and his playmaking is lifting everyone around him. Malik Beasley has been lights out as a secondary scorer, and Tobias Harris is giving them that steady veteran presence. What really stands out, though, is how much Detroit has improved defensively. Over their last 8 games, they're locking teams down, ranking 4th in defensive rating. That's not a fluke. They're forcing turnovers, protecting the rim, and making life miserable for opposing offenses. This matchup has a lot of layers. If Haliburton plays, the Pacers can run their usual up-tempo, high-assist offense, and that gives them a real shot to steal one on the road. But if he's out, Detroit's defensive pressure could dictate the game. They're already one of the best teams at forcing mistakes, and against a Haliburton-less Indiana, they'll have a field day. And let's not forget, the Pistons already blew out the Pacers by 24 earlier this season. It's hard not to be impressed with what Detroit's doing right now. They've won 7 of their last 8, they're hitting threes at a ridiculous clip, and their confidence is sky high. On the other hand, Indiana is banged up and facing an uphill battle without their leader. If Haliburton doesn't suit up, I've got to roll with the Pistons to win and cover the 2-point spread. This team is playing with a chip on their shoulder, and I love how they're bringing that underdog energy every night. That said, if Haliburton is a go, the Pacers can definitely make this a fight. The guy changes everything when he's on the floor, and Indiana's offense flows so much better with him orchestrating. But as things stand, I'm leaning toward Detroit. They've got the momentum, the defense, and a rising star in Cunningham. Keep an eye on that Pacers injury report, but for now, I'm backing the Pistons to take care of business.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Phoenix Suns and Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards and Phoenix Suns are set to square off, and honestly, it's a tough one to call. Both teams come into this game with plenty of issues to address, but they're operating on completely different levels. The Suns are stuck in the middle of the Western Conference pack, trying to figure out how to turn potential into consistent results. Meanwhile, the Wizards are just, well, they're in a league of their own when it comes to struggling this season. The Suns' recent loss to Atlanta, 122-117, snapped a 3-game winning streak, but it showed flashes of what this team could be. Devin Booker has been cooking lately, leading the team in scoring in 3 of their last 4 games. Kevin Durant, as usual, has been doing Kevin Durant things. His 8-game scoring streak earlier this season was nothing short of vintage KD. Add Bradley Beal to the mix, who's embraced coming off the bench like a true professional, and you'd think the Suns should have this in the bag. But their inconsistency on the road is a problem. Sitting at 6-12 away from home, they just haven't been able to close out games, and their 22nd ranked defense doesn't exactly scream reliability. On offense, they've got the tools. 6th in the league in three-point accuracy? That's a dangerous weapon when Booker and Durant are firing on all cylinders. But their slow pace and middle-of-the-road three-point attempts leave you wondering why they aren't leaning harder into their strengths. Sure, there's talk of roster shakeups. Jusuf Nurkic seems to be the odd man out, and there's chatter about adding Jimmy Butler. But with Beal's no-trade clause and the logistics of moving pieces mid-season, it's all just noise for now. Now, let's talk about the Wizards. Man, this team is a mess. With a 6-32 record, they're bottom feeders, and it's not even close. They've dropped 7 straight, most by double digits, and their 120-106 loss to Minnesota was another nail in the coffin. They're the worst team in the league on both offense and defense. I mean, when your offensive rating is 105.1 and your defensive rating is 118.6, it's clear nothing is clicking. They're running one of the fastest paces in the league, but that just leads to their opponents running up the scoreboard. Jordan Poole's been their one bright spot, averaging 21.5 points per game, but he's been pretty much on an island. Veterans like Kyle Kuzma and Malcolm Brogdon have spent more time on the injury report than the court, and Jonas Valanciunas, while solid, looks like he's just riding out the season as a mentor for Alex Sarr. The young guns, Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly, are putting up respectable numbers, but there's no breakout star in sight. So, how does this game shake out? The Suns should win, but trusting them to cover a big spread on the road feels risky. They're 4-4 against the spread when favored on the road, and their defensive lapses make it hard to fully believe in them. The Wizards, for all their flaws, have pulled off 5 of their 6 wins at home, so they're not entirely hopeless in their own building. Still, asking them to hang with Phoenix feels like a tall order. What I'm really looking at here is the total points line. If it's set at 233, you've got to ask yourself, are the Wizards capable of holding up their end? They've averaged just 103.8 points over their last 5 games, and the Suns aren't exactly lighting up the scoreboard on the road. I'm not buying the idea that this turns into a shootout. Even if Phoenix has a solid offensive night, I don't see the Wizards pushing this game over the line. For me, it's all about the under here. These are 2 teams with too many question marks, and I just don't see this game turning into a track meet. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Oklahoma City Thunder. The rematch is set, and I can't wait for this one. The Cleveland Cavaliers are heading into Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder, and it feels like the intensity is about to be off the charts. These 2 squads gave us an absolute show last time, with the Cavs pulling out a 129-122 win just over a week ago. Now, OKC is out for some payback on their home court, and I'm all in to see how this one unfolds. Let's be real, Cleveland has been nothing short of elite this season. They've got an offense that's firing on all cylinders, leading the league in scoring and shooting percentage. Last week against OKC, they flexed that muscle, shooting over 52% from the field and almost 42% from deep. Jarrett Allen was a beast in that game, putting up 25 points and snagging 11 boards, while Evan Mobley and Darius Garland chipped in with big-time contributions. Even with Donovan Mitchell having an off night, and I mean off, 3 for 16 from the field, the Cavs showed they're not just a one-man show. Max Strus and Dean Wade stepped up from the bench, and that depth was the difference. But let's not forget how strong OKC looked for most of that game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the face of the franchise, dropped 31 points and reminded everyone why he's one of the best in the game right now. Jalen Williams was cooking, too, with 25 points, and Isaiah Hartenstein added a double-double. The Thunder shot over 53% from the floor, which is no joke, but their struggles from deep, just 35.5%, and a rough fourth quarter cost them. They only managed 20 points in the final frame, and against a team as good as Cleveland, you just can't have that kind of drop-off. This one feels different, though. OKC has been a fortress at home this season, going 16-2 in their own building. That crowd energy at the Paycom Center is something else, and I'm expecting them to feed off it. The Cavs might be the talk of the East, but the Thunder are no slouch. They're right up there as one of the best teams in the West, and they've got every reason to come out swinging after that loss. Still, there's one thing that's got me a little worried for OKC. They're going to be without both Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. Losing those two bigs is a problem, especially against a Cavs team that has Allen and Mobley ready to dominate in the paint. Sure, Cleveland isn't exactly a rebounding powerhouse, but with OKC short-handed up front, they could really take advantage down low. It's a matchup that could swing the game. On the flip side, Shai and the Thunder guards have the talent to turn this into a track meet. If their shooters can find their rhythm from deep and the team keeps turnovers in check, they've got a shot to flip the script. This is one of those games where you can feel the stakes. OKC doesn't want to get swept by the Cavs, especially not in front of their home crowd. Honestly, I'm leaning toward OKC in this one. It's tough to beat a team like the Thunder twice in such a short span, especially on their home floor. They've been nearly unstoppable at Paycom, and I expect them to come out hungry and locked in. That said, I wouldn't touch the spread. It's too close to call with the Thunder missing key pieces and Cleveland size potentially creating havoc. My gut tells me OKC edges this one out in a tight finish, fueled by their home court magic and a little extra motivation to prove they're one of the best in the league. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Los Angeles Clippers and Portland Trail Blazers. The Trailblazers and Clippers are set to square off, and this one's got all the makings of a game that could surprise some folks. Portland has been in a rough patch lately, dropping 4 of their last 5 games, and defense has been their Achilles heel. They've been giving up a whopping 117.2 points per game in that stretch, and teams are shooting 47.4% against them. Here's the kicker. When the Blazers allow more than 115 points this season, their record is an ugly 3-19. That tells me the Clippers, even on the second leg of a back-to-back, have a real shot to hit that 115 mark and put this one out of reach. Now, I'm not saying the Clippers are offensive juggernauts. They're averaging just 108.9 points per game, one of the lowest marks in the league. But this is a team that hangs its hat on defense. They've been locking teams down all year, ranking in the top 5 for points allowed and excelling at limiting both field goals and threes. Just look at their last game against the Nets. They clamped Brooklyn so hard it was a defensive clinic. And let's be real, Portland's offense isn't exactly lighting it up, so I wouldn't be shocked if LA has another standout defensive night. The Blazers' injury report, though, is the big red flag here. Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams, Donovan Clingan, they're all out. Denny Avdija is questionable. That's a lot of depth missing for a team that can't afford to lose much more. Sure, these guys might not be headline names, but they contribute in ways that don't always show up on the stat sheet. If all these absences hold, the Blazers are going to be digging deep into their bench, and that's a tough ask against a team as disciplined as the Clippers. Portland's path to making this game competitive is pretty straightforward. Defense, defense, defense. They've been lax on that end lately, but if they can crank up the intensity, force some turnovers, and make the Clippers uncomfortable, they've got a shot. One thing working in their favor is that the Clippers aren't immune to coughing up the ball, and they're prone to stretches where the offense goes cold. If Portland can capitalize on that and keep LA under 115 points, they might just hang around long enough to make things interesting. Even with all the injuries, the Blazers do have some firepower in Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe. These two are capable of getting buckets, averaging 18.7 and 18.4 points per game, respectively. Neither is the most efficient shooter, but volume scoring counts for something, especially when you're thin on options. If these two can each put up 20 or more points, Portland might be able to cover the spread, even if pulling off an outright win feels like a long shot. The Clippers, meanwhile, have their own set of challenges. They're on the second night of a back-to-back after playing the Nets, and let's just say they haven't been road warriors this season. They've dropped 4 straight away from home and 5 of their last 7 overall. On top of that, their record in back-to-backs is one of the worst in the league, just 2-5 against the spread. Fatigue is a factor here, and while Kawhi Leonard is expected to sit out, the Clippers have shown they can get the job done without him. Still, their inconsistency on the road and in back-to-backs makes me hesitant to fully trust them in the spot. I've got a feeling this game will be tighter than people think. The Clippers are the better team on paper, no doubt, but their shaky road form and Portland's desperation to put up a fight could make for a scrappy game. I'm leaning toward the Blazers to cover the plus 7-point spread. They've got enough left in the tank to make this one interesting, especially if their stars step up and the defense shows a pulse. Don't be shocked if Portland keeps this one closer than expected. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Houston Rockets and Sacramento Kings. The Rockets are heading to Sacramento to face the Kings, and this game has all the makings of an intriguing matchup. Houston has been on a tear lately, winning 5 of their last 6 games and looking like a team that's finally figured things out. With a 27-12 record, they've earned their spot as one of the top teams in the Western Conference, and they're playing with a confidence that's hard to ignore. Ime Udoka deserves a lot of credit here. He's molded this young squad into a defensive juggernaut, while sprinkling in just the right amount of veteran leadership with guys like Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun continue to shine. Sengun, especially, has been a beast, controlling the paint and dishing out highlight reel passes. Green's athleticism and scoring make him a perfect complement, though there's still some chemistry to build between the two. What stands out about the Rockets this season is their defense. They're ranked 3rd in defensive efficiency and absolutely dominate on the boards. That's a recipe for success in this league, but the big question is how they'll hold up on short rest. Playing back-to-back games is always a grind, and coming off a win against Denver, they might not have as much gas in the tank. Sacramento is no pushover, though. After a rough December where they couldn't seem to buy a win, they've flipped the script. They've won 7 of their last 9, and while they got smacked by the Bucks in their last game, this team has been trending in the right direction. De'Aaron Fox is the engine that makes this team go, and Domantas Sabonis continues to be a double-double machine. The addition of DeMar DeRozan has been a game-changer, too. His ability to close out tight games has taken some pressure off Fox and Sabonis. Doug Christie has this team playing with more energy and purpose. They're pushing the pace, which fits their roster perfectly, and their defense has tightened up a bit too. They've got the talent to go toe-to-toe with anyone, but consistency against the league's top teams has been an issue. They're 9-15 against squads with winning records, which isn't exactly inspiring, but this is a team that can catch fire on any given night. The Kings have a big advantage here with the rest factor. They've been sitting at home while the Rockets were grinding it out in Denver. Fatigue could be a real issue for Houston, especially in the second half. Sacramento's defense has improved enough to make life tough for the Rockets, particularly inside. If the Kings can control the glass and force Houston into one end on possessions, they should be in a good spot. No, I'm not dismissing the Rockets entirely. They're scrappy, they play hard, and they don't take nights off. But on the road, on short rest, and against a rested Kings team, that's a tough ask. Sacramento's pace and depth should wear Houston down as the game goes on. I'm expecting the Kings to come out on top and cover the 2.5-point spread. Houston's got heart, but I don't think they'll have the legs to keep up in this one.